So we'll give this we'll take two and see if we can get a better connection this time round. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going and see if then the recordings will be up for people. So I'm just going to share this across to my other page and we'll see how we go with that. So as I said, this is take two from sharing with you 3 ways. Hey, Erica, hopefully that is a better connection for you, love. So yeah, hey, Carolyn, hopefully this is much better. Hey, Jean-Marie, how are you, love? So if any of you could just let me know if you've got a much better connection than what it was just a moment ago would be awesome. So hey, Anna, how are you, sweetie? So as I was saying, I wanted to come in and share with you that playing around with your intuition can be a shit ton of fun. Most of the time we think, delving into intuition is about going to the depths of our soul and finding all of our secrets that we've put away in that Pandora's box, and that's how the soul gets to have fun with you. Sometimes it does, but in this case we are actually going to have some fun with doing some sort of not so much exercises, but I want you to just choose and connect into whatever the 3 elements that I'm going to share with you today as a way to just practice and learning to hone in your intuition skills and using it from an objective of it's a judgment-free zone. It's not about whether you get it right or whether you get it wrong. It's a matter of learning to tune in to energy in different ways, because what works for one person doesn't always necessarily work for others. Hey, Jean-Marie, it is awesome to have you here from Puerto Rico. Beautiful. So I'm going to share with you 3 different ways to be able to practice and play around with your intuition, to be able to go have some fun with it. Hey, Amy, how are you, love? So the very first, thank you for the beautiful hearts and thumbs up. Thank you, everyone. So the very first exercise that I said in the first take of this video was to just be able to tune into the energy of whomever is calling or texting you. So when your phone goes off, keep your phone upside down, or if a text, the bell or alarm or whatever it is that goes off, and have your phone upside down. And before you answer it, just tune in and just see if you can pick up an energy of a person that you know, or just allow the first name to drop into your head. And then when you turn the phone over, just see how accurate you are. And just practice with that and do it many, many times over. There's some days that I'm really on point, and there's some days that I really suck shit. But I still get to have some fun with it, because I sort of have a bit of a giggle and have a bit of a laugh of whether, you've tuned in or not. So as I said, this is about having fun with your intuition, and I want to make that really, really clear. The second way that I like to have some fun with my intuition is I like to be able to think of a question, and then I'll just go, hey, Jill, how are you? And then I like to be able to just go and choose any random book. Just absolutely, and look, believe me, I have a ton of books. And I'll just have a look at a book that sticks out for me. And then I'll hold the book in my hand and I will think of a question. And then I will just think left or right and say it's right. I'll just open up that page and just read whatever I'm drawn to on the right-hand side. Now, what happens with that is that enables you to see if the content that you're reading is connecting in with your emotions, how you feel, your thoughts, your feelings, all of those kind of things, or gives you some insight into a direction, or giving you clarity around something. So that can be a heap of fun doing that. I often love to do that, to go into a bookstore and then just go and randomly open up a book, and that always cracks me up, because even it doesn't always have to be a new age book when you do it, believe me. I've done it with thrillers or those kind of books, and still be able to take a message away from whatever it is that you're reading. So that's another fun way to be able to have fun with your intuition. So that one is just think of a question, and then just think of left or right, and then just open the book and just read whatever you're drawn to on that page, and just see how it connects into your thoughts, feelings, emotions. Does it offer you some clarity? Does it give you some confirmation? Does it give you some direction? Think outside of the box when you read the message that comes to you. So that's one thing. I used to do that one all the time. It's so much fun doing that one. Hey, Sean. Hey, Leif. Hey, Heather. Hey, Jill. How is everyone doing? So today I'm sharing with you 3 of my 3 ways in which I like to be able to, yes, it's random at that point in your life. So true, Caroline. Today I am sharing with you 3 ways that I like to have fun with my intuition. So I'll quickly go through the first 2. So the first one is just to be able to tune into whoever's calling or texting you. Just tune into the energy when that phone call comes through, and see if there's a name or a person that comes into your consciousness when you do that, and just practice with that. The second is being able to pick up a random book and think of a question and just go to whatever page you're drawn to, choose left or right, and read the message from, you know, that paragraph that you're drawn to, and see how that relates to you. The third one, which is my all-time favorite, is now you can use a pendulum. And if you do not have a pendulum, you can do the same exercise with a candle. So yes, you can have just as much fun with a candle as what you can with a pendulum. So with this exercise, you need to just bring, you still bring, hey Denise, hey Salvatore, hey Debbie, how are you? So this is my pendulum that I like to have a little bit of a fun with. It's a lapis, and it's in the shape of a star. So what you need to be able to do with this, with a pendulum or with a candle, is you need to be able to ask the object, what is candles? I like candles. That's awesome, Erica. And like, believe me, when I have a bath and I use a candle, turn off all the lights and just have the candles and make this really nice atmosphere when I'm having a bath, I like to have fun with this exercise, and I'll be cracking up laughing just within my own self. So I'll share with you how you get to do this. So this is the exact same thing whether you're using a pendulum or whether you're using candles. As I said, you need to be able to ask the object which way is yes and which way is no. So I will see if it comes up like this. So all you need to ask it is which way is yes, and just wait a second. I'm not sure. Can you see that it is moving back and forward? You may not be able to, but the pendulum is actually moving front and back. So because I've asked the question, what is yes, I like to then stop it and just hold it in my hand. And then I also like to ask the question, which way is no, just to make sure that it is programmed properly. And see how now it's moving the opposite direction. So that's programmed now. And with candles, I usually find the candle will either go, the flame will either go up and down for yes or no, or else it'll sway back and forward. So just ask the candle which is your yes and which is your no. Just remember to reset the object in between times. And then all you need to do is you need to be, this one is, you do have to have a little bit more thought process with this one, in the fact that because you're using an object that is only going to be able to give you an answer of yes or no, you need to make sure, I have this amazing friend and we're on a journey, slow but awesome. I love candles. That is awesome. You know what? Slow is better than fast, and getting there quickly and then realizing that there's a whole lot of areas along the way. Slow and steady wins the race, my dear. So as I was saying, when you're using this particular, doing this particular exercise, you need to be, thank you for all the beautiful hearts. How do you reset the candle? Okay, so when you reset the candle, you just ask for your yes and just allow the candle to go up. And then you can either just basically clear your mind and just say to the candle, now I'm going to reset this intention. And you'll notice that all of a sudden the candle will just start doing what it normally does, okay? And then you just look directly at the flame and ask, what is the direction for no? And therefore you'll start seeing it move in different directions. Hey Helen, how are you? So as I was saying, with the candle, just ask the flame. I always like to look into the actual flame as if I'm like talking to it. Yes, it may sound crazy, but this is where we get to have fun, because you can do the shit when no one's around and no one's going to judge you if you're crazy or not. So I just look into the flame and I say to the flame, please show me show me the direction for yes. And as I said, the flame will either go up and down or it'll go back and forward. Then I just say, now I'm going to reset. I always say thank you when I've got that direction in my mind. I say thank you. I now know that yes is either up or down or back and forward. And then I just say to the flame again. Now I'm going to reset this intention and just allow the candle to go back to its own. Give it 10 or 15 seconds, and then ask the flame, what is the direction for no? Now, if you find that the flame just seems to be doing the same, then just take a moment and just allow it to just reset itself, and then just go at it again. Okay, now with this exercise, because the answers can only come to you in the form of yes or no, it means that you need to be able to ask specific questions that only have a yes or no answer to it. So let's just do something totally random. Alrighty, I'll just say to the crystal, are we doing a Facebook Live? There you go. And as we know, so can you see that the pendulum is going back and forward? So remember when I set this at the beginning, the yes was going forward. I'll do another random one. Am I a male? See how you need to make sure, and because we know those were, that was the movement for no. This is where it's so important that you just become, will I be a motivational speaker? You'll have to ask the candle, love. But this is where, even if you find out that I want you to, as I said, experiment, have some fun, be creative, be open-minded, that let's just say, for example, you I'm going to check in to make sure that's okay. That I'm going to use you as an example, Erica. Just let me know if you're okay with that, just so I can go in and share a little bit more around that. So what you could do, Erica, is that even if you ask the candle, will you be a motivational speaker? If it was to come up saying no, I just want to have some fun with this. Even if it came up no, say ask the next question, because sometimes the questions that we ask can be too broad. You could say, will I be a motivational speaker in the next 3 months? Will I become a motivational speaker in the next 6 months? Will I become a motivational speaker in the next 12 months? And therefore you break it down from being really broad into little specific increments. And when you've gone through and asked these kind of questions, Erica, if you find that, it's coming up, then go in and ask yourself even more questions without the candle, because by then you will have already tuned into your own intuition. And then ask yourself, what are some of the steps that I can do? Or please reveal to me, what are the steps that I can take to move into the space of becoming a motivational speaker? And then just see what just drops into your consciousness. And this is where we can take our intuition to that next level and just keep having fun with it, and always knowing that your soul is always communicating to you. It never switches off. It's not like all of a sudden your soul just goes on holiday and it sends you a peace out sign that says see you in 6 months' time. It is with you all the time. So the more that you learn to have fun with it, and the more you learn to ask your soul questions, your soul is an extension of you. So if you don't ask questions, it can't give you the answer. But you've got to ask quality questions. You can't just go, why is this not happening? Well, it's always, we usually start off with those kind of crappy questions. Why is this not working? Or why is this happening? Ask questions that, how can I move into this space? Or what can I do to move into that space? Those are the kind of questions, because as we know, when we ask our soul a question, our mind, because as you've heard me say, with intuition, there is an intuitive aspect, so a soul element within it, and there is also a psychological aspect, so our consciousness. So we're working with our subconscious and our conscious mind, but we want them to have a beautiful match where they're working cohesively together. So when we ask these quality questions that we're asking our soul, it's going to drop that idea into our consciousness mind, and then our mind must go find and seek the answer for you. So this is why it's so important to be able to ask quality questions and have some freaking fun with your intuition. It doesn't need to be like, you know, the amount of times I have conversations with people, and it's one of the myths that I really like to dispel, is that they think that delving into intuition is all about, you know, spooky, scary, really deep and intense emotional places that you go to when you're working with your intuition, and it's not. You can have a shit ton of fun playing with your intuition, and as I said, just do it from a judgment-free zone where you're not judging yourself whether you're getting it right or whether you're getting it wrong. Remember, when you practice a new skill, some days you're going to suck at it, and that is perfectly okay. It doesn't mean that just because today you sucked at it, you should stop doing it. Just means just practice more and have some fun more with it. And before you know it, you're going to be rocking it out. And that's okay, because you know what, guess what? I've been doing this for 20 years and there's still some days that I suck, or still moments that I suck, and it's like, okay, then I go in and I look at it and I go, oh, what component is not in tune with my intuition today? Am I stuck in my head? Am I being too busy? Am I lacking, you know, having a moment of having some doubts? Being able to go in and consider what is the gap that's creating for you to not be able to tune into that intuition. And again, go in and explore and have some fun with exploring. Exploring doesn't mean that we are always going to dredge up the past. It doesn't mean that. And I think that is one of the greatest myths that I like to dispel. Some of the things that are revealed to us, they're like the biggest aha moments that you're like, oh, now I finally get that. Higher self will speak with you. Got it. Awesome. I'd love to hear how you go with it, Erica. And any one of you that go and practice doing any of these exercises, please, I'd love for you to come back in and share how you went with it. And, you know, whether you found it easy to be able to tune into it, whether it was something that you tuned into and it wasn't actually exactly on point, because you know what? People aren't going to judge you. You know, I always think to myself, and I always like to use like elite athletes as an example, because I think sometimes we understand that a little bit better, and the fact that, you know, an elite athlete doesn't get to the top by not practicing. He has to practice 24/7, 7 days a week, live and breathe it, have some fun, practice. And even an elite athlete are going to have days where they show up and they're not going to be all that awesome, but it doesn't mean that they just walk away and go, okay, that's it, I'm going to quit and I'm not going to do this anymore. No, they get out there and practice even more, or check in with themselves. Are they lacking in their nutrition? Are they, you know, but energy's a little bit low? Do they need some vitamins? Do they need rest? You know, they go in and explore why that day they weren't so awesome. And then there's just some days that you just let it go, but you don't judge yourself on it. As I said, you know, some days shit just falls into place and it's wicked and it's awesome. And then there's other days that it takes a little bit longer to get into that flow. And on those days when I'm not flowing or vibing the way that I want to, I come in and I have some fun. And these are the kind of fun things that I like to be able to do. So I hope that each one of you can take one of those exercises away today. Go and have a shit ton of fun with it. And I sincerely mean that. Have some fun. Choose, and even use your intuition in the choosing part. I've just given you three different exercises. Yes, the third one has two parts to it. You can either use a pendulum or a candle. But just use your intuition in the choosing part. Ask yourself, which of the three exercises resonates with you the most? And if it's number 2 jumps into your head, go off and practice that one. So this is where you can use your intuition even in the choosing part, and then just go throughout it. And this is where you can go in and you can pick up a book and ask 10 different questions throughout the day and just see what resonates. And that's where that can be really fun, because you can like pick up a book that's a romantic, pick up a book that's you know, self-development, one that could be on money, one that could be like a secret spy, all these variances of different types of book, and ask lots of questions and see what's revealed to you. So yeah, I just wanted to come in that, you know, it's really important to make sure that when you go on the exploration of doing the journey of intuition, that you remember that there is always a fun element. So to bring that fun back in, to being able to explore around your intuition, that communication between yourself and the soul, and how to build more and more strength and trust by simply just having some fun. So I hope this really resonates with everyone today. And if this is something that you think others would love to know, please feel free to share it. And I would love to be able to hear about each one of your journey or the choices that you decided to do and the outcome that you got. So otherwise, have a wicked week. Much love to you all, and I will all hear from you shortly. Take care.